We request all the participants to please be back to the hall. We'll be starting the panel discussion in a minute. We request all the participants who are outside the hall to please come back to the auditorium for the panel discussions. We request all the participants to please be back to the hall. Shiksham Vyakhyasyaamaha Varnaswaraha Matrabalam Samasantana. The Shiksha begins. It is knowledge which is in a particular form, reaching people which we recognize. Shiksha. May it be in the form of language, may it be in the form of meaning, or may it be in the form of art. Varnaswaraha. It is the external formulation which can be sensed by human mind, makes the color of it. Hence, the knowledge that can be perceived, that can be transmitted and realized, shall have a physical form, which is swara, or the tone which I recognize. Matra balam. The change in the tonal quality or the bent in it. If there is a finite bent which makes my cognitive senses capable of perceiving knowledge at right spirit, I call it as matra. Samasantana. If I perceive knowledge that makes a cognitive sense and a newer form of it emerges, it could be in the form of song, it could be in the form of a sentence, it could be in the form of writing, or it could be in the form of a sculpture. Shiksham Vyakhyasyaamaha. That is knowledge which has varanaha as swara, Bala as matra, Sama as its total outcome, which makes the beginning of Taittiriya Upanishad, which is the spirit of this 2 days national workshop on Indian knowledge system, focus areas, and research. I welcome all of you to the last session, that is the panel discussion for the program. It is my duty to set tones for this discussion. Before I do that, I request the panelists to please be on stage. I request Dr. Ramanathan to please come on stage. Professor Upendra Rao, please be on stage. Professor Ramakrishna, please be on stage. I request the Honorable Vice Chancellor to lead this panel on this occasion. I request Professor Bettu Satyanarayana to please lead the panels. Thank you, sir. Knowledge has been a system, and institutionalization of knowledge has remained the base for the mankind. Bharata, or India as we perceive, has always remained pro to institutionalization of knowledge. Institutions, could it be in the form of place of discourse or people who in themselves were institutions? Is it possible for to have institutionalization of Indian knowledge system? That is the basic question which we ask. It is a tradition which has spanned thousands of years, and it has outcomes which are highly precise and useful. So if there is a tally of outcomes which are useful, essential for good being of mankind, that is the idea of dharana, where are the methods which gave this to us? Do we have the research methodology which is associated with Indian knowledge system available to us? This needs to be answered. We learn in a particular fashion. The Indian corpus has a method to learn which is more algorithmic rather than more empirical. If I look at other civilizations, civilizations have remained empirical at the base in the beginning, and later algorithmic techniques have developed. Bharata, or India as we know, remains the seat for algorithmic learning and understanding, which is basically symptomatic in nature, which is exemplified by the ideas in Ayurveda. We try to understand knowledge as cause and effect dual, and we recite every statement of Indian knowledge system as a cause effect relation and give scope to hold the ideas which are beyond causal aspects. We are always metastructural in nature. We understand knowledge and the knowledge of knowledge, which is meta. It is essential to understand the Bharata at the metastructural level what it is and can be really documented at right spirit. These make the basis for a very important idea in the academic system, that is the development of curriculum, opportunities, and challenges. So, the theme for today's panel discussion is the essential protocols and modifications, motives for development of curriculum with the eyes of Indian knowledge system. Is it feasible? If it is feasible, what can be the format and what are the essential challenges? So we will be going for a small introduction over this, where the panelists are going to talk on their perspective of the curriculum and the challenges in the academic realm with the scope of Indian knowledge system. They'll present themselves for 5 minutes each, or extendable to 5 more minutes, rather 10 minutes, and then the forum will be open for discussion. We would request all the participants to actively participate and restrain themselves to the ideas of opportunities and challenges in building curriculum which is with the scope of Indian knowledge system. So with this, I open the panel. I request the first panelist, uh, Professor Ramanathan, to begin with, and then we would request Dr. Upendra Rao and Dr. Ramakrishna to proceed. I request Dr. Ramanathan to present himself for 5 minutes, extendable to 10, and then proceed the next, or hold the batons to the next.
Once again, very good afternoon to one and all. Pranams to one and all here. Thanks for giving yet another opportunity to share a few of my thoughts in this context. I thought yesterday I spoke enough that you got bored, but again you see me. Thanks for that. Well, can Indian knowledge system be integrated? Yes. How? Now the question that was posed is, can it be integrated? You also had a talk today. Yes, it can be integrated. It has to be integrated. Rather, the question is how to integrate it and what to be integrated. Is a discourse on Indian knowledge system a journey in history that we bask in the past glory that 2000 years back my ancestors did that, my ancestors did that, my ancestors did that? Is it limited to only basking in the past glory, or is it something that knowledge can advance forward? There was a talk on Arthashastra, so I thought it is very relevant to the state of Karnataka also, and that I would like to narrate it with the permission of the speaker, because it was left out during that session. I know all of you are aware of the story behind Arthashastra. It was discovered hardly 108 years back. That shouldn't inspire people to say that Arthashastra was composed 108 years back. It was only discovered 108 years back. Now, roughly 110 years back in Mysore Oriental Library by Dr. Shama Shastri. And the very interesting story which is related to our famous Subhashita is that Nripatvam Vidvatvam Naivatulyam Kadachana Swadeshe Ujyate Raja Vidwan Sarvatra Pujyate. How this is connected? Because Mysore Raja at that time goes for a trip to the British Empire, the main headquarters, London. And this was in 1920s when the First World War had got over. There, when he was introduced to the public, one of the public asked, "Are you from the same city where Arthashastra was rediscovered?" Then he says yes. And then when he comes back to Mysore, he narrates this, that for the first time, I am known through my subject. People did not know me, but they knew the subject who did this work. So this itself, that's why I equated it to say Swadeshe Pujyate Raja. And this Shama Shastri was a Vidwan, was a scholar. He might have not even stepped outside Mysore, but his work was known in London back then. This I'm talking about before the era of emails and telegrams, just after the First World War. Similarly, you have such nuggets of IKS concepts, IKS principles, IKS facts, IKS opinions also across various disciplines. And there are multiple ways that each one of us, like depending upon the disciplines that we particularly belong to, how to integrate them with what is the ultimate cause. See, NCERT textbook, or even in fact the DSCRT textbook of Karnataka State also, under this leadership of I think Bargur Ramachandra, when they had even revised the textbook, they had certain Indian concepts. Say, for instance, there is a topic of integers coming. So they will have a small box in that chapter, Aryabhata invented zero, or something. Like when you read it, the children get some information, but then people who know the subject, they will know it is a stepmotherly treatment. That they somehow, there is a disliking for it, but they could not avoid it. So there is a compulsion. So they just added it in a very, very superficial manner. So that is not actually the way I personally see it to be added. What the end goal of integrating IKs? Like one of the previous speakers, Ramakrishna, he said identity. I mean, and the rootedness which the NEP also talks about. Ultimately, how is it that we are going to identify ourselves? Is it just by mere virtue of my birth in this geography, am I an Indian or a Bharatiya? Or what qualities have I imbibed which I am going to transmit to the next generation through which I can be called as a Bharatiya? So yes, there are ample, but as it's like one shoe will never fit for all. For a science, and within science, you have something like a concept and a fact, and by definition, science has to evolve. Ramakrishna beautifully mentioned about how what Manu talks about the dharma, the shastra that has to change in different realms. If that is true for dharma, one age differing in a different age, I'll just take 2 more minutes. That is very much true for even science. Einstein, when he wrote those equations, and he got the Nobel Prize, not for relativity, not for the other seminal papers that he got it for photoelectric, explaining the photoelectric effect. But he said, if in 200 years or 300 years these equations are not challenged, then definitely there is something wrong with these equations. So science by virtue evolves. So we cannot say whatever scientific truth was there 2000 years back, I will keep harping about the same truth, even now just because it was done by my ancestors. So one should differentiate between what is the concept embedded in the Indian knowledge system and what are the facts. That coming from purely from a science background, but overall to have this identity to this nation that we belong, that we are all one. Yesterday also through the cultural program that we saw, even though there were different mediums of expression, but this whole thing of oneness was coming out. So each discipline, they'll have to really do a thinking for which this could be a spark of inspiration, and see how we can draw inspirations from our past, be it literature or be it legal systems or be it scientific thing. How can we talk about them in the current thing? One last example, I leave it. I will tell it and I leave it. For instance, I am sure even in Kannada grammar also, you might have studied about Chandagalu. Chandas. You have certain Jatiya Chandas also and some classical Chandas also. Harsva, Dirgha, all those things. Dr. Herur mentioned it in a very brief way yesterday, although he could, if you read his book, you'll be understanding more. If only that grammar teacher knew that this is a genesis for binary number system, representation of binary numbers in mathematics, which a mathematics professor will teach, it could be a very nice cross integration. And a mathematics teacher, suppose in class 8 or class 9 or even in a UG curriculum, if they're trying to introduce the binary numbers, if they kind of give you some flavor of how it comes from Chandas, I'll not get into details, but then if you look at what you call it as a Fibonacci series, they have the direct outcome coming from the way, the kind of question Pingala asks, a mathematical question that Pingala asks about arranging Harsva Dirgha given a particular matra. See, if a mathematics teacher knew, he need not become like Ramakrishna to compose poetry. But if at least a mathematics teacher knew that this is a genesis, it would add to the aha factor. I mean, thanks to your terminology, I'll not use a wow factor hereafter. It's an indigenization thanks to this workshop. Aha factor for the students as well as for the teachers. So in summary, yes, there are ample scopes to integrate. How to integrate, each one has to think about themselves with respect to the discipline that they belong to. Thank you, and if you have questions, we can discuss it further.
Professor Upendra Rao, please. You can start.
So on that, you can ask how to implement this subject, particularly from the teachers, because when we are talking about all these things that asked yesterday and today, the experts have presented everything. But to implement in reality, what to do. You can ask, then they will clarify. Based on that, now a lot of projects are also available. How to proceed? These things they will also, that is, they can give some inputs.
Thank you, sir. I request Professor Upendra Rao to set the stage, please.
Sabhaya Namah. What Professor Dr. Satyanarayana has explained just now, that is what actually I was also thinking. But before that, before your questions, now again we need not to speak about the Indian knowledge system. This is only panel discussion. That is over. Whatever we have spoken, we have spoken. But what is Indian knowledge systems, how to implement this and how to develop this and what is the need of these things? These are the questions. Everybody knows these things. But in my opinion, in Karnataka Central University here, if you begin, basically Indian knowledge system is not the subject, no need of such department and positions, that is not important. The basic concept is we should understand the glory of our India, first of all. That is, we are all equal. We are all citizens of India. We are all same. This is our nation. We love India. And what is its culture? And what is its ancient, what are the texts? Did our ancient ancestors know anything science, any philosophy? If you think like that, you will find all answers. A lot of things are there. That is what we have been discussing. So certainly our country was one of the richest country on the globe. We should be very much fortunate to get the birth in this country. Such a great country. Unfortunately, we are not able to, sometimes we are not in the mood and we don't have time to think about all these things. Falling into modern activities, day-to-day life. So, some similar academicians in this university, those who have such inclination, interest for the Indian knowledge systems, can come together and make a very big, huge, good project. There are so many funding agencies also. Like, for example, IKS itself is there in Delhi. And you can apply for the projects. And also, similar projects can be granted by the CSU also, Central Sanskrit University also. Now the application is open just now. You can all go to website and you can apply for that. And again, as some people were asking, Indian knowledge system is only in Sanskrit. No, not like that. But you can apply for any field. Any field you can apply. But Indian knowledge system is not modern knowledge system. There will not be funding for that. If modern science, already you are getting various kinds of things. We have departments and everything we are doing modern. So these are the basic things. That's what I was feeling. And again, now if we have, without talking much, so we will discuss together. That is better, I think. That's what the Vice Chancellor's opinion also. That's why I'm not taking much time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I request Dr. Ramakrishna to come and set the stage, please.
ಶ್ರೀ ಗುರುಭ್ಯೋ ನಮಃ. ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. Actually, knowledge is universal. There is nothing called Indian knowledge or European knowledge. So knowledge is universal. It actually stays beyond the boundaries, geographical boundaries. But what we are trying to say, or what is now being discussed under the title Indian knowledge systems, is Indian roots of knowledge systems. So for in each and every, most of the areas of the study, there are a lot of contributions made by our own ancestors. And as sir said, it is matter of identity is one thing, and secondly, it will definitely change our perspectives in certain areas. So that we have to understand. Let me give a couple of examples. For example, when we see from, when we clearly understand what dharma is or what the Purushartha framework is, so can we, in business, actually there is a lot of scope in business studies or business management studies, and in the area of psychology, political science, and in these areas, particularly humanities and social sciences, there is a lot of scopes to draw Indian insights, and that can provide a completely different perspective to us, and education also. For example, we always say now, recently several research works have come that peer learning is what essential. So let me share one subhashita. Acharyat padamadatte, padam shishya swamedhaya, padam sabrahmacharibhyah, padam kala kramena cha. What we learn from our teachers is only 25%. 25% we learn our own by analyzing and by referring to different things. 25% padam sabrahmacharibhya. We learn from our peer group. And padam kalakramena cha. The remaining 25% kalakramena mundake hogta adu artha agtade. So see how beautifully what we speak now on peer learning, learning environment, all these things, and if you see education system also, earlier actually there was a centralized examination, and now CBSE actually says that who teaches, he must do the evaluation. This is like Gurukula system only, right? So who is the better person to assess his student, the students? Because I am the continuous whatever we are doing now, continuous assessments and internal, all these actually the real spirit of Gurukula only. So we have to understand all these things, then, and this is no new for us. So these insights, and particularly I mentioned about Purushartha or Dharma perspective also. So in business we speak about blue ocean theory or red ocean theory and all, or what is the purpose of business. So can we draw some lessons from these perspectives? So definitely we can, and we can develop our own models on leadership. We can develop our own models on decision making, on communication also. Actually business communication and some other, actually entire Abhinaya is a communication only. So what we speak, Abhinaya, so Abhinaya is a communication, is an expression actually. So for communication, we can draw lessons from Natya Shastra, we can draw lessons from a lot of Subhashita texts, and even from other Sahitya, other literature also. This is one aspect. And second aspect, it is not only limited to Sanskrit. Though we are, all resource persons are repeatedly saying that it is not repeatedly, it is not only limited to Sanskrit. There are several questions on those lines. So we are not at all saying that it is limited to Sanskrit. And you see that, let me give one example, that we are actually mentoring a set of students. We asked them to do the case study of Channa Bhaira Devi for business studies. That she is for foreign trade. Actually, she is known, Channa Bhaira Devi was a queen of Karnataka, and she popularly known as a pepper queen. Yeah, pepper queen. Yeah. So for business models, we should learn, and some other studies have already been made, that how temples, Chola's temples, how business environment actually developed centering Chola temples. Temples are not meant for business, but business can take place around the temple. So temples actually played multiple roles in our. So such research is being taken place from our indigenous practices. Okay, so and from it is indigenous practices and from folk literature also. So for communication, we can take Vachana Sahitya also. Okay, so it is a high time for us to integrate, because tomorrow what happens, we mutually whether why Indian knowledge systems or why we mutually we fight with each other, and we are actually finally in classroom we are actually teaching the Western scholars uh, whatever defined by the West. So finally we don't gain anything. So this is what, and particularly when we go to English literature or such courses, let us take for the literary criticism, whatever, how to analyze a novel, how to analyze a poetry. Let us take our own, it is available, ಭಾರತೀಯ ಕಾವ್ಯ ಮೀಮಾಂಸೆ ತೀನಂ ಶ್ರೀಕಂಠಯ್ಯನವರು ಬರೆದಿರೋ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲೇ ಪುಸ್ತಕ ಅವೈಲೇಬಲ್ ಇದೆ. ಅಲಂಕಾರ ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರ ಅಂತ ಗಣೇಶ್ ಅವರು ಬರೆದ ಪುಸ್ತಕವೂ ಅವೈಲೇಬಲ್ ಇದೆ. ವಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಪರ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಆನ್ poetry, what makes a good poetry or what makes a good creative writing? So we can draw lessons from our own, and literature also. Just I mentioned a couple of things. So for mathematics you can refer all the works of Venugopal Herur, that history of Indian history of mathematics and mathematicians of India in India is one book. It provides a concise history of mathematics and mathematicians. And if you want to go little more deeper, then his other books also, and on geometry, Bharatiya Trikonamiti Shastra, it is available in Kannada, Hindi and English. Venugopal Herur sir, actually whatever book he brings out, so he brings in 3 languages. So language should not be a problem for us. So in mathematics this is, and in astronomy, yes, Balachandra Rao's works are very authentic, and it is actually for us, for a beginner, these things will be very helpful. And in chemistry, Subrayapa's work is very, it actually helps us in starting from the beginning. And philosophical systems, I mentioned Hiriyanna, V. Raghavan, these books we can refer to. And a lot of lectures also available online. So on YouTube, if you attend 45 sessions of Ramasubramaniam and M.T. Srinivas, MPTEL, they have actually recorded those sessions and made it available online. So the fundamentals of Indian mathematics we can learn from those 45 sessions. So it gives a very good overview of Indian mathematics. So on social sciences, there are a few, but we have to develop a little more, and in linguistics it is available. So on education also, we are also trying to bring up, and both when we do that literary sources available in all languages and the indigenous practices, we are trying to bring all these things. I request all the faculty members also, though some people mentioned Sangam literature. So let all of us start taking one initiative, that take any, and first we should do the literature review, whether it is available or not. And then if not, immediately we have to start. So every culture or every society has its own method of facing the issues in their life. So definitely we can draw such lessons. And I just, with respect to identity, I wanted to narrate a story, and I will stop. So when Rajanikanth was hospitalized in Singapore, I think he got the surgery. And one Tamil person, he traveled all the way till Singapore, and he was very poor. It is not that he had money, and he gained, begged, money from different people, and he went there, and he wanted to see Rajanikanth, and he luckily the surgery was successful, and he wanted to see. And when the interview was made, that he was saying that Rajanikanth is our identity. See, a chameleon says that Rajanikanth is our identity, therefore I don't want to lose him. See, people actually, we need some identity. Okay, that if we are not aware of this today, but one day will come that we will definitely, in different stages, actually we always try for find our identity. One day we will be thinking that what is identity of my district, what is identity of my state, what is identity of my, and Karnataka is a place, if you see in the world, that no world has produced the queens who actually went to the battlefield. Okay, Karnataka produced Keladi Channamma, Kitturu Channamma, Channabhaira Devi, and so many, Ullala, Rani Abbakka. they actually entered the battlefield and they fought against Aurangzeb kind of people also. So isn't it the matter of pride for us? And if education was denied to the women, then how these people could become the warriors? And Raghunatha Nayaka of Tanjavur, he and the Bhoja, who actually authored Shringara Prakasha and Samarangana Sutradhara, he was from Paramar dynasty. Paramar is a Jat community. And 90% of Indian kings were not, or belonging to such different communities. They were not Brahmins, neither Brahmins nor Kshatriyas also. So they became Kshatriyas because of their, and they, at the same time, they were well versed in Sanskrit and in such disciplines also. So let us try to bring all those lessons and integrate in our curriculum. So I will stop here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. So we request for a dialogue. We will be having a few disciplines maintained. The questions shall be crisp, and to whom the question is addressed to shall be mentioned prior to putting their questions. And if it is to the complete panel, then that also shall be mentioned, and then the questions shall be put. I request the other side of the stage to put on questions, and then we will go ahead with the dialogue.
Thank you very much for a very good framework for this session. My question is for Ramanathan as well as other panelists also. Today we have an identity of India through our constitution. The constitutionalism clearly gave an identity to me and my Rashtra, that is India, right? So how this identity is completely different from the identity that you are speaking. I may claim myself with the identity of a constitution, my identity came through a constitutionalism. And how your identity of India is differ from this identity which constitution gave me. Can you say some?
I told you how to implement it, what is the sources available, what we can do from the university side. This is the only for session for the discussion.
So identity from the knowledge point of view. So I think, let me give one example. I hope all of us know the story of turmeric, patent on turmeric. Okay, yeah. So in US, two researchers actually said that usage of turmeric for medicinal purposes, we actually identified or we came up with this knowledge, and they claimed for patent, and they got the patent also. They got the patent. So I hope all of us know that what are the side effects of patent if someone actually takes the patent. So tomorrow they can say that if you are using turmeric for medication, then you have to pay so much of amount to me. Someone can say that. So, but this knowledge system or this knowledge, usage of turmeric as a medicine is existed in each and every kitchen in India. Not only in literature, actually. This knowledge is existed at least from 3,000 or 4,000 years in India. Okay. So ICSSR fought for 10 years to get back that patent. Okay. If we don't identify, tomorrow actually the war will be like, it is not the war, nowadays the war is not with the weapons. It is the war with the, I think you people can say economic war or IPR, yeah, intellectual, yeah. Such war will happen, and it is already started, and we have to say that this is existed with us. Otherwise, so different kinds of identity is in different multiple forms. India is, why actually India also joined in the race of vaccine, coming up with the vaccine, our own vaccine, because that also is, it is definitely for the welfare of, and finally, we are not for identity for our pride. It is for the well-being of the globe. So that we are not actually claiming for the identity for our own pride. It is for the welfare of the world, entire world. So this is our idea.
Hello, sir.
Other thing is the neem tree also someone is claiming. It is not Indian, it is ours like this. That is also what is going on. So we need to identify. So many there.
Hello, sir. Sir, I am from Tamil Nadu. You said we are claiming Rajinikanth is our identity. No, my identity is my language. Tamil is my
So that-
identity. So 1 second, sir.
Sir, okay.
and
it is
the-
only one person has claimed. He told that.
No,
he is not telling
he
that
generalized.
Rajinikanth is identity.
Tamilians are claiming Rajinikanth as a identity. Okay, fine. My identity is my language, and it says very clearly, "Yadum ure yavarum kelir." Everyone is my brother and sisters. We are the citizens of this earth. So that is my identity. So even previous, speakers, when they were speaking, some of the faculties were asking, why not you referring from the Tamil literature? Yes, of course we can. We supposed to refer. You all expert in the Sanskrit. I agree completely, but it's a request to the panels or organizer. So we can bring some more scholars from the other aspects also, various language, various platform. Then it will be more effective way to contribute for the Indian knowledge system. Yes, of course, one of the speaker witnessed knowledge is universe. We all already last few days we were discussing.
No, that is what the problem. Problem is, the question is there any Indian way of
Just
thinking?
wait. Give to him first. Let him express his views. Why we don't
No, no.
Isaac? Don't try to Isaac. It is not
You
the
know.
intellectual discussion. Discussion there should be meaning.
Yeah, instead of bringing from the same background the resource person, we can bring from the different language. It's a one, different language, different discipline we can bring. So most of the examples were in the Sanskrit. I am nowhere I studied Sanskrit. Some explanation in English I could able to understand, but when completely most of the example came from the Sanskrit, I came here to understand what is the Indian knowledge system new to me. So here, if you are taking some example from Kannada literature, if you are taking some example from Tamil literature, even Odia has a lot of literatures. So India, there are 21 languages they are there. So at least some representation from various platform, it will be more effective, so that I can also contribute more to the Indian knowledge system.
That is we want. Shivamurthy,
Yes, sir.
that is we want.
Yes, sir. I
We will
want.
gi-
I
we,
want to
we give
contribute.
the opportunity with you contribute from whatever is available.
No. Yes,
We
I
will,
want.
that's why you come with some credits. We'll see.
Yes, sir. I want to contribute,
Yes.
but
And now to understand everyone, now you translate to the English because people will understand that one. Okay, it is in those days now Aryabhatta, when they are speaking about this, the earth is globe, everything like that. He proposed that theory, and we should welcome such things. We should also know about this one. Everyone is under impression that this only Galileo is invented. That is India. This earth is a globe. Even we have studied in the physics, Copernicus laws, Galileo laws, we have studied. And Galileo, this telescope also we have studied. So why not we also, if Aryabhatta, what is available, such things, is it wrong? So this is that's why we are not imposing it is a elective. We should also bring some pride wherever it is good.
sir, I'm teaching social work.
Language should not be a barrier. See, if someone takes references from Tamil literature, other people will say that I cannot understand Tamil. So translation is provided. None of us actually spoke in Sanskrit only, isn't it?
Yes,
So
sir.
and if someone comes with the references from Hindi only, someone will start to say that why are you imposing Hindi?
No, sir.
Yeah,
There are
isn't it? So
there are three
uh,
speakers. At least one speaker
no,
can.
actually, yeah, speakers
Yeah.
actually spoke from different disciplines. Finally, subjects now why people are actually writing in English. So finally, the knowledge, the language should not be a barrier. And we, as a India, actually, we are not monolingual country. We are actually multilingual, and we always respect each other. And we always, yesterday, that one girl actually sang a Malayalam song actually. All of us actually appreciate it, right? So I never say that I don't understand Malayalam, I don't appreciate. No one actually, and the words also, when that jnanamo or the lines were also very beautiful actually. Jnanamo paramon jnanattile paramonnattile. So easily one can, if I pay attention, I can easily follow it. So such things are there. Odia song also, if I pay a little more attention, I can follow it. So I think we should, those boundaries we have to, and we are actually kind of, this campus has students from 22 states, right? 24 states. We should think from little more.
Thank you.
Also,
We
just for your information, I'm not fully from Sanskrit discipline. Again and again, you are saying you are all Sanskrit people, Sanskrit people. I don't know how much you know about Prakrit and Pali. Definitely, I'm sure that you don't know anything. This is the problem. We are not studying
No,
anything.
I know Pali and the Brahmi.
No.
Wordings were there.
Actually, you have to respect each and everybody, and everybody has to do their role. What Buddha said, you know, in Pali. Bahum piche samhitam bhasamano na takkaro hoti naro pamadi. Gopo va gavo ganayam paresam na bhagava samanyasa hoti. This is what Buddha said in Pali. What Buddha said also we don't know. For that you have to go back to Pali. This is the Indian knowledge systems. What Buddha said is the Indian knowledge systems. What Buddha said, बहुम पिछे संहितम भाषमानो, शास्त्रों के ऊपर बहुत बड़ा बात करने वाले हैं. But actually you have to follow, you have to implement, not just speaking about the Shastra. So that means that is what he again and again stressed to implement it, everything in your life. And if you are not implementing and speaking about only Shastras, how your life will be? He is giving example in second line. Gopo va gavo ganayam paresam. He is like a such person. He is like a cowherd. Gopa. Gopa ante gollavadu. Cowherd ante. Cowherd.
it is
A cowherd. He does not know how many cows he is having in his group, but he is counting the other cows. But Buddha says that that person's life is waste. Na bhagava samanyasya, he can never get the shramanya phala. So we had the great Shramana parampara in India. So that is also Indian knowledge system. And also if you see the Prakrit, great knowledge we have. They say so much. Actually, as I said, that great literature was composed in Prakrit. How many people know this? In Vajjalagga, he says that, poet says that, amiyam paya kavam. Padiyum soum ye najananti. This is Prakrit. This is a Prakrit poem is a nectar, he says. Nectar. The people, those who are not able to either read or write, waste, their life is waste, he says. So in this way, we have so much literature, rich literature in ancient India. And now you say that in Oriya also we have literature, in Tamil also literature, in Telugu also, that is okay. But all these Indian languages, Indian literatures, were influenced by these three languages. If you know linguistics, if you know literature, you will understand that. Up to 14th century, or up to 14th century in Telugu, whatever poems were written, just to replica composition, just following, just translations of Sanskrit poems. Later on, their own literature has started. In Kannada also, whatever literature you have first started, that is only translation of Mahabharata, Ramayana, and also Buddhist influence also, that we don't know. Buddhist influence also, so many poems have come. Jaina influence, particularly Karnataka. was very much influenced by the Jain. I go to Shravana Belagula, Bahubali, great history we have. But how many people have studied Jaina Sanskrit poems, Jaina Sanskrit scripture, and also Jaina Prakrita also, because Jains have Prakrita like Ardhamagadi, they have literature. So this is the great, this is all Indian knowledge. Forgotten everything. Not this is not. I'm not abusing anybody. This is it became our lifestyle. Fortunately, we have studied. That is why we know this. I'm not saying that. Suppose if I would have studied some medicine or engineering, I also could not have known this. But I know because I have studied that. But still, many people are not aware of many things. You see, what is many people just know only some names. Shankaracharya says that's all. What he wrote, you don't know. Did Shankaracharya worked on Veda or he took Prasthanatrayi? What is Prasthanatrayi? People don't know. What is Brahma Sutra? Where is this? And Prasthanatrayi means Brahma Sutra, Bhagavad Gita, and Upanishads. Why he has taken that? And what is Dvaita again? Which started from Purna Prajna, from Udupi, near Udupi. So in this way, we have many questions, many terminologies we don't know. That is a situation, pitiable situation now in India. Broadly, I'm telling. If you go into literature, oh my God, so many things. It is not easy to tell. Many technical terms we have forgotten. We have forgotten everything. Actually, what happened? We became foreigners in India. It's like that. We don't know anything about India. This is a situation now. You see, we have three kinds of words: Abhidhana, Lakshana, Vyanjana. All these things. See, without knowing this, how can you know all these scriptures? We had the great scientific system in ancient India. Great scientific system. And that again reflects in the language and all these things. So that when you open the books and when you study, see, only then you can understand. So for that, naturally, we had to speak about the Sanskrit scriptures and the Pali scripture because they are forgotten. That is why we are speaking on them. Modern, we don't want to say. Modern law, what can I say? Modern chemistry or modern physics, no need to do any meetings on that. Already you know all these things and we are doing that. But this ancient glory, not ordinary glory, no. We had the great glory. That is the very important fact. As we were discussing, the entire science had transferred to Arab and from there to Europe. See the history, what happened, zero and also many things. You know about what Shunyavada. How many people know Shunyavada? Nagarjuna invented Shunyavada. And also, again, many things I tell you. Buddhism, those who speak about Buddhism, they speak about the Pali. But I told you yesterday only, in Buddhism, more than Pali, we have in Sanskrit literature. In Buddhist literature in Sanskrit, more than Pali. All texts have gone. Only few texts are available now. And now, after later Buddhism, only two streams are very important. One is Madhyamika, other is Yogachara. Madhyamika was started by Nagarjuna. So he's here only from, we should be very proud that he is from Telangana, Andhra, that Amaravati. It's half of that, basically in Amaravati, but again, lot of land in Telangana also. Now Telangana government has started very huge project there, Buddhavanam. Recently I visited that. So he invented Shunyavada. Nobody can understand that. It is not easy to understand Shunyavada. And that is, and then Yogachara also. These things are Indian knowledge systems.
We go for the next question.
Yes, sir.
So here for any
There-
departments, if you come forward, you just whatever you want to do, you can have the numbers with our Professor Donor. You be in touch with them, and you try to formulate the curriculum at least to 3 units, the 3 credits, so that you can have a elective in the multidisciplinary, in the UG program, multidisciplinary we have, there we can offer that 3 credits course. Similarly, in the PG also we can opt one elective with 3 credits. So I'm requesting from the departments, you come prepared with which is relevant to your subject or which is really create some interest among the students like this. Now, the donor will coordinate with this one, Professor Donor, and whatever the literature which is available, we will also ask them to provide wherever it is there. We will also collect it, and wherever the projects are available, we'll write to the project. And so, if we get some money, definitely we can develop some kind of infrastructure because we have very little resources. That is now, if we get some more funds from any funding agency, we welcome it and we utilize those to the maximum extent and we utilize.
Please, the next question.
Sir, I'm teaching social work. My discipline is for social justice. I want to know any literature which is more talk about or contributing for the social justice and written by any women author.
Please contact our donor. We'll give this now. No more. So anything, if you want any subject, you will coordinate our donor, Professor Basaras donor. Now he is the academic director. He will coordinate with everyone, with every department, and definitely we will go ahead. We will implement this Indian knowledge system in each department. I request all the teachers come with some idea which is helpful. And definitely the university, from university side, I will provide a platform.
There is a 7-volume book, Contribution of Women in Sanskrit Literature, written by Jatin Bimal Chaudhary. Sorry? No, I hope you could understand the title, Contribution of Women to Sanskrit Literature. So women, I hope you understand. So unfortunately, I mean, none of the women, I mean, unfortunately, that their study is recently done, and those who are very interested in doing such things, they have not come forward yet. So you also, I invite you also to do such research work. Thank you very much. But this is very important one. Jatin Bimal Chaudhary is the author, and the book is available in 7 volumes. Okay. Yeah, archive, free download, it is available. He identifies women poets and women authors from who have written in Sanskrit from the Vedic age. Yeah, it's a very excellent book actually, and the way of how the literature also is of different types. Some are in the nature of commentary, some poems. So that also can be referred to.
Thank you.
Good afternoon to all. I am Dr. Lesh. So my question is from Ramakrishna sir. Sir, as you have told that there are some documented Indian knowledge and some are undocumented. So I also feel that there are various practices which are prevailing still from means from the historical period. So can you throw a light upon the integration of those practices? Like for an example, in some area of Rajasthan, like Jaisalmer, we have tankas. So they are for rainwater harvesting. So they have been doing this practice. They have been means in every house they have this architecture in their home for rainwater harvesting. So now means in every means from class 6 to 10th we teach our students about rainwater harvesting, but we never take example from that reason which is prevailing in our India and from very ancient time. So how can we integrate those practices which are prevailing but not are documented? So can you throw some light upon that process, how to integrate those practices? Thank you, sir.
So yeah, thank you. It is very interesting and very important question. So as we are saying from yesterday morning, there is a lot of scope in doing such studies. I mean, so many practices, indigenous practices have not been documented. And India is such a tradition where some of the knowledge actually transmitted in oral tradition. So not documented. And even if you see Aryabhatta, actually the book is very smaller one. He actually, the rationale and all he doesn't provide. Actually later astronomers and mathematicians, they provide the rationale. He just gives the sutra and continues. So rationale and other things were actually transmitted through oral tradition. So if you want to go to the primary sources, then we have to refer to the works such as Al-Biruni. So he has documented whatever he has experienced in India, and very beautifully he actually compares what is the tradition of Arabic world and what is the tradition of India. So he beautifully compares. So that is what, if we can go to the primary sources. Apart from that, a small book authored by Sahana Singh, Educational Heritage of India or something like that. It is a small book, but she actually provides such insights. And some of the things I will go and do kind of, and I will speak to the other researchers also. If some good material I can find, then definitely I will share it with you. Currently, immediately I can recall that Sahana Singh's work. And she has, the bibliography actually provides several research papers and books that actually can be referred to as a first stage. And some practices that are existed in Gurukulas and such things also can be, for example, now whether we hold the expertise on a subject or on a discipline. So these are some fundamental questions, isn't it? So can I say that I am expert in mathematics? Or can I say that I am expert in this theory? That theory can make some contribution in accounting, make some contribution in arts. So in that way, so there are some fundamental questions. And now actually this, now actually new education policy says that you learn subject or topics from different disciplines. So this is what we call as interdisciplinary. So such things. And if we see the practices of India existed right from the beginning, so we get some insights from there also. Because from my discipline, I can say that for in astronomy, to solve a problem, they actually took Mimamsa Sutra. So Mimamsa actually is completely, if you see from the modern point of view, that this is exact science and that is humanities, how these two can come together. But very wisely, Nilakanta Somayaji employs a Mimamsa Sutra to solve a mathematical problem. So how that the expanding the horizon is of thinking is very essential. So definitely I will get back to you.
I think the way I understood the question is how certain non-documented practices can be incorporated. You gave the example of the Rajasthan tongue. I mean, it's a very pan-Indic phenomenon. If you go towards the eastern side, you have ahar pain. बिहार में जो ahar pain का जो प्रक्रिया है, अभी भी प्रचलन में है वो अभी केवल एक वाक्य के रूप में संकुचित हो गया है पाठ्य पुस्तक में कि प्राचीन वाटर हार्वेस्टिंग सिस्टम इज नोन एज ahar pain. इसके ऊपर इसके अलावा वहाँ पे कोई जिक्र नहीं आता है. बट NEP 2020 इफ यू केयरफुली सी इट इनकॉर्पोरेट्स, वहाँ पे एक प्रावधान है कि आप पाठशाला में स्कूल लेवल के सिस्टम में भी कि वो टीचर जो है बच्चों को वहाँ ले जा करके प्रत्यक्ष दिखा करके फिर उसको उसके बारे में उन्हीं से समझाना. ऐसा नहीं है कि टीचर समझ के बच्चों को समझाना. वो जो अभी प्रैक्टिस में अभी भी बरकरार रखे हैं उन्हीं के माध्यम से बच्चों को समझाना, ये प्रावधान है. But now it depends upon the curricular development and the timetable development, how they are going to implement it. So currently you have words called tongue and ahar pain, but this is in fact a pan-Indic phenomenon, down to even the South India also. Because my Tamil friend will be able to relate if somebody is doing some great work, Vetti Murikirana, I do not know the Kannada counterpart for it. Yeda Vetti, Yeda Murikirda. Actually, there it is a Kodatta Vetti Murikirda. Because Kodatta Vettardu or creating a tank was considered to be one of the very, very noble tasks. And that was water harvesting system. So yes, to answer your question, NEP has got that system of taking the students live to those things. There are many such practices which have gone undocumented, especially in the fields of arts and music. Such practices are even more crucial. At least in other fields, organized fields, they're documented. But in the fields of arts, music, I know you have a department of folk arts and tribal arts. The theorizing it is very different. But what is in Prayoga, one has to see, go and see it. So for the first time, if you look at NCF 2005, they don't talk about it. In NCF 2020, there is a provision for the school or the scholastic system to go directly to there and make them as a resource person. I was joking in the morning that today our university or education system has become so rigid that suppose you have a department of Buddhist studies in any university, even if Gautam Buddha comes and appears as a faculty candidate, he will not be recruited. So there are several such practices. Like take, for example, your own state, Avadhana Kala. You look at curriculum of, I have not looked at the PG curriculum, but at least till the UG, there is no detailed description about the Avadhana Kala even in Karnataka. But that doesn't mean there are no Avadhanalu in the society. So if the students have to be taught about multitasking, take them to the Avadhanis, bring the Avadhani. And for that matter, again to my Tamil friends here, I stayed in Tanjavur for many years. Actually, I'll earn the anger of Kannadigas and Telugus if I say this. Avadhana actually took birth in Tamil Nadu and from the courts of Tanjavur. But today you go and I have conducted a survey myself. Tamilians do not understand the word Avadhana. As Avadhana, which shop it is getting sold, or how much rate they are selling it. As Professor Rao said, we have forgotten many things. So this is all spark of remembering this such thing. So yes, there are provisions to go to those practitioners and make them as a resource person. If you have an interest, if you know somebody, you're entitled to tell your head of the department or somebody to make that person as a resource person. Because if you go interact with him, take a knowledge, and you may write a book, you may even not give any credit to that person also. Such things have also happened in our country. Foreigners have come, they have consulted such local practitioners, they have written book, they have written thesis, they have earned the credit. Ultimately, the people who have provided this knowledge, they are completely obscured. So these people are entitled to be paid and given due respect and made as resource persons. They may not speak English, they may not speak even good Kannada, they may not be even, but they will be good at practicing whatever they are practicing. You go very far, not far, I think 70 kilometers from here, Bidar. Okay. Bidar is the only place in the entire world which produces zinc of an alloy which contains more than 70% zinc. No other place in the world produces such kind of an alloy. They may not be able to speak the English or Hindi or Kannada, whatever, Urdu. They may not be able to speak in a very intelligible manner. Make them as a resource person. Teach that art of alloying from them. What prevents? I mean, this NEP 2020 gives that provision to you. That's what I wanted to add.
Hello.
Just here also for our Central University of Karnataka, UC has given 5 crores project for endangered languages. That was sanctioned in 2015. And within 5 years, we supposed to be, the project should be completed. So when I took charge in the 21 July, I received one letter from the UC to refund that money along with the license certificate. I gone through it. Then I requested the UC to allow us to work on this project. Then I made a notification, and again with notification I sent to the UC to retain it. And immediately I appointed our Professor Basraj Kodaganti as a director in charge. I asked him to go ahead with the program. I appointed some persons, some staff in that project, because the project is also had the provision to appoint some people. We did it. and this is going away. I just request Kurganti to throw some light on this. Many languages are extinguishing, and no one knows about what is their status.
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
So I think Dr. Kodukunti, please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Before that, I just want to add to the deliberations that is happening from the yesterday onwards. I am from Kannada department, Kannada as a subject. I see some of the experts from Kannada language background, but I'm from Kannada language as well as Kannada subject background. In our department, too much of syllabus, because today the topic is incorporating Indian knowledge system into our curriculum. So too much of our syllabus in Kannada department is very much the core Indian knowledge systems. We teach grammar, we teach poetics, we teach prosody, we teach old Kannada literature, even theater. Many of our courses take Bharata, Panini, Anandavardhana, all of them as core of as a main theoreticians to discuss in our papers. So when we talk about the Kannada literature, whether it is Jain literature or even Vachana literature or Kirtana, all of them are too many philosophical theories are there present in our literature. We have deliberations, we have discussions, we have interrogation between them. So more of our courses we are teaching that. So I feel that Kannada subject can be a shall be a model for whatever is being discussed in the today. And yeah, let me talk about Center for Endangered Languages. In fact, Karnataka has too many languages. We don't know clearly how many languages we have. More than 100 languages are used in Karnataka in different places with considerable number of speakers. That's important. But it is true that in Karnataka, not much work has happened. And when I personally started working on minor languages of Karnataka for last around 15 years, I am concentrating on two languages, Kulu and Koracha. These are, in fact, many of us never ever heard these names. They are in good in number, but still, the government shows no number of record. Koracha is a language which must be having around 6,000 years of history. When I never know that. When I went to the field and when I met them and when I interacted with them, I came to know that it's such an old language, older than Kannada and Tamil. And it is actually the most important language for us to understand Indian knowledge system. Why? Because they are living at least 5 to 6,000 years. They are living with their own vocabulary. That's most important vocabulary, because I being a student of language, I always understand that the word the word is always most important to understand our life, our society, and our environment. I have noticed all the experts have taken words to understand our knowledge system and how the discovery have happened. So similarly, these such languages, there are many more. I just took one example of Koracha. There are many more such languages which have kept the Indian knowledge in their vocabulary, not only in the vocabulary, even in the structure, in the form of grammar. So if we can work on these languages, no doubt that the interaction between languages in the past in India and how the continuation is happening between languages, within language. So all these things we can study, we can understand, and we can explore. That's what is my understanding of working on minor languages.
Such that many languages are endangered, are extinguishing, and there is no documentation. Now UUC is funding such to preserve those languages, and like that. No. For every university, they have given whoever write the UUC is funding that.
Bharatiya Bhasha Samiti also provides a lot of funding. For any Indian language, there is a new body, I think established in last 2-3 years, Bharatiya Bhasha Samiti, for the translations and for language teaching, for all those things, they provide funding. So, yeah. No, but you can. There is a portal for submitting proposals.
ನಿಮ್ಮ ಇದುವರೆಗೂ ಮಾಡಿದಂಥ ಚರ್ಚೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ನಾಲೆಜ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ನ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೂ ಮುನ್ನ ಈ ನಾಲೆಜ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಮೊದಲನೇದಾಗಿ ಅದು ಅಷ್ಟ ಆಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ನಾಲೆಜ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾವುದು, ಆ ನಂತರದಲ್ಲಿ ಸೇರ್ಕೊಳ್ಳುವ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ನಾಲೆಜ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಯಾವುದು ಅನ್ನೋದು. ಹಾಗೆ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ನಾಲೆಜ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಇರುವುದಾದರೆ ರೂಪದೆ ಭಾಷೆಯ ರೂಪದಲ್ಲೋ, ಜಿಯೋಗ್ರಾಫಿಕಲ್ ಗಡಿಯ ರೂಪದಲ್ಲೋ, ಅಥವಾ ಇವೆಲ್ಲವನ್ನು ಮೀರಿದ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅದು ಇರುವುದಾದರೆ ಅದು ಹೇಗೆ ಇರ್ತದೆ, ಯಾಕೆ ಇರ್ತದೆ, ಮತ್ತು ಯಾವ ನೆಲೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಅದು ಪ್ರಧಾನವಾದ ಒಂದು ಆಶಯ ರೂಪದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಗಿರ್ತದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ನನಗೆ ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟ ಆಗ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಇದು ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ನಾಲೆಜ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಬಹುಶಃ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅಂದ್ರೆ.
It is just to summarize what he is asking in English.
First one, what is knowledge, and after that, what is Indian knowledge?
Here it is our country name is India. What is knowledge is available in India from the beginning, we calling it as the Indian knowledge system. Yeah. If we call it as a Hindu knowledge system, again it is become a communal word. So therefore we are calling it as the Bharatiya or Indian knowledge system.
Hello.
Thank you,
Sir.
We go to the next questions here.
Sir, one question, sir. Last question ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದು.
I'm remembering there was a scholar. He went to a village, and for 1 week he gave lectures on Ramayana. And after completion of the Ramayana, one person was coming every day regularly, attentively listening to him. In the end, he put a question to the sir, what is the relation between Rama and Sita? Sita Ramaniki emotandi, he asked in Telugu.
Sir, this is last questions. Question ಎಲ್ಲ ಭಾರತೀಯ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಪರಂಪರೆಯ 2 ದಿನಗಳ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಾಗಾರವನ್ನು ಕೇಳಿ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ನನಗೆ ಒಂದು ಒಪಿನಿಯನ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಏನದು ಒಪಿನಿಯನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಉಪೇಂದ್ರ ರಾವ್ ಸರ್ ಮತ್ತು ರಾಮನಾಥನ್ ಸರ್ ಇವರೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ಒಂದು ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್ ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯವಾಗಿ ತನ್ನ ಇಡೀ ಜ್ಞಾನವನ್ನ, ತನ್ನ ಪರಂಪರೆಯನ್ನ ಒಂದು ಪೀಳಿಗೆಯಿಂದ ಮತ್ತೊಂದು ಪೀಳಿಗೆಗೆ ಕೊಂಡೊಯ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತಿರ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಎಲ್ಲರ ಬಳಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇರಬೇಕಾಗಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥದ್ದು, ಮತ್ತು ಅದು ಬಳಸಿದ್ರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ನಮ್ಮ ನಂಬಿಕೆ. ನಾನು ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ನೀವು ಮತ್ತೆ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾನಂತ ನೀವು ಭಾವಿಸಬೇಡಿ. ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತ ಅನ್ನುವ ಈ ಭಾಷೆ ಅನೇಕ ಜ್ಞಾನಗಳಿಗೆ ಪಾಸ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ದಾರಿಯಾಗಿ ಇತ್ತು ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ತಿಳಿದಿರುವಂತ ಸಂಗತಿ. ಈ ಸಂಗತಿ ಕೇವಲ ಇದು ಅನ್ಯಥಾ ಭಾವಿಸಬಾರ್ದು, ನಾನು ಉಲ್ಲೇಖ ಮಾಡಲೇಬೇಕಾದ ವಿಷಯ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತವನ್ನ ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣವಾಗಿ ಕಲೀಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾರ್ವಜನಿಕವಾಗಿ ಸರ್ವರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಅವಕಾಶ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಿದ್ರೆ ಇಷ್ಟು ಬೇಗ ಈ ಭಾಷೆಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಏನೋ ನಾವು ಮೃತ ಭಾಷೆ ಮತ್ತೊಂದೇನೋ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ತಪ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತೇನೋ ಅನ್ನೋದು ನನ್ನ ಒಳ ಮನಸ್ಸಿನ ಒಂದು ಅರ್ಥ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಈಗಾಗ್ಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ಆ ಕಾಲದಲ್ಲಾಗ್ಲಿ ವರ್ನಾಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಇತ್ತು ಅಥವಾ ಮತ್ತೊಂದೇನೋ ಇತ್ತು, ಪ್ರೈಮರಿಯಲ್ಲೇನೆ ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನು ಉಳಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದನ್ನು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯರಿಂದ ಅಥವಾ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಬೇಕಾಗೋ ಸಂದರ್ಭಗಳಿಂದ ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಮಂದಿರಗಳಿಗೆ, ಇನ್ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಇವುಗಳಿಗೆ, ಅಥವಾ ಇನ್ಯಾರೋ ಒಬ್ರು ಅವ್ರು ಪೂಜೆ ಮಾಡೋರಿಗೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇನೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋರು ಭಾವಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಾತ್ರ ಅದನ್ನ ಕಲೀಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಇಷ್ಟಪಟ್ಟು ಆ ಜ್ಞಾನಗಳನ್ನ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಟ್ರೇನೋ ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಬ್ಬರು ಕೂಡ, ಸಾಮಾನ್ಯನೂ ಕೂಡ ಈ ಜ್ಞಾನವನ್ನ ಕಲಿತಿದ್ದಿದ್ರೆ ಇವತ್ತಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಆ ಭಾಷೆ ಆಗ್ಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ಬೇರೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ನಾಲೆಡ್ಜ್ ಆಗ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಸರ್ವೈವ್ ಆಗಿ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು ಅನ್ನೋದು ನನ್ನ ಒಂದು ಅಭಿಪ್ರಾಯ. ಈಗಲೂ ಕೂಡ NEP ನಮ್ಮ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ, ಇಡೀ ಭಾರತದ ಮೊದಲ ಇಂಪ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟೇಷನ್ NEP ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಾಗಿದೆ. ನಾನು ಇದನ್ನ ಒತ್ತಾಯ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇನೆ. ಹಾಗಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಇದನ್ನ ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂತಲ್ಲ, ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಗೆ ಭಾಷೆಗಳನ್ನ ಕಲಿತಾ ಇದೆಯೋ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತದಲ್ಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಮೂಲತಃ 1ನೇ ತರಗತಿ ಮತ್ತು LKG UKG ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕು. ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ನಾಲೆಡ್ಜ್ ಇದೆ. ಆ ನಾಲೆಡ್ಜ್ ಅನ್ನ ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಕಲ್ತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದು ಅವ್ನು ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ಗಾದ್ರೆ, ಇವತ್ತು ನೋಡಿ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಯಾಕೆ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಕೇಶನ್ ಭಾಷೆ ಯಾಕೆ ತಗೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ? ಯಾಕೆ ತಗೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ? ಅದು ಬೇರೆಯವ್ರಿಗೆ ತಲುಪಿಸ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕಾಗಿ. ಆ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತದ ಭಾಷೆಯ ಎಲ್ಲ ನಾಲೆಡ್ಜ್ಗಳನ್ನ ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಂಡು ಪಸರಿಸಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಆ ಮಾದರಿಯ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣದ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಅಗತ್ಯನೂ ಇದೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಯಾಗ ವಂಚಿತರಾಗಿದ್ರು ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಗೇನ್ ಅದನ್ನ ಕಲ್ತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮತ್ತೆ ಜ್ಞಾನವನ್ನು ಪಡೆಯಲಿಕ್ಕೂ ಕೂಡ ಅವಕಾಶ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ನನ್ನ ಅಭಿಪ್ರಾಯ ಇದು.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು ಸರ್. So there is a question on the right hand side.
So I second your opinion, particularly that I second your second opinion. ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತವನ್ನ ಕಲಿಬೇಕು ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ. ಅಂಡ್ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತ ಭಾರತಿ ಅಂತಹ ಹಲವಾರು ಸಂಘಟನೆಗಳು ನೀವು ಫೀಸ್ ಕೊಡೋದು ಬೇಡ, ಉಚಿತವಾಗಿಯೇ ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳುವವರು ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ನೀವು 10 ಜನರನ್ನು ಸೇರಿಸಿದ್ರೆ ಅವರು ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ತಯಾರಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಫೀಸ್ ಕೊಡುವುದು ಬೇಡ. 10-15 ಮಂದಿ ಕಲಿತೇವೆ ಅಂತ ಇದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಬೇಕಿದ್ರೆ ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ. ಇದು ನಾವು ತಗೊಂಡಿರುವ ವ್ರತ. ಇದು ಯಾರೇ ಆಗಲಿ 10 ಮಂದಿ ನೀವು ಸೇರಿಸಿದ್ರೆ ನಾನು ಬೇಕಿದ್ರೆ ಆನ್ಲೈನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ. ಇದು ಒಂದು. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು, ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತ ಕೆಲವು ಒಂದು ವರ್ಗಕ್ಕೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ಸೀಮಿತವಾಗಿತ್ತು ಎನ್ನುವುದನ್ನ ಅಲ್ಲಗಳೆಯುವಂತಹ ಹಲವಾರು ಪ್ರಮಾಣಗಳಿವೆ. ಈಗ ನನಗೆ ಸಮಯ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಇರುವುದರಿಂದಾಗಿ ನಾನು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಜಾತಿಯವರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತ ಮುಕ್ತವಾಗಿತ್ತು ಎನ್ನುವುದಂತೂ ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟ. ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಪ್ರಮಾಣಗಳಿವೆ. ಆ ಪ್ರಮಾಣಗಳನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಬೇಕಿದ್ರು ನಾನು ಕೊಡ್ತೇನೆ. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ನಾಟಕವನ್ನು ಯಾರು ನೋಡ್ತಾರೆ? ನಾಟಕ ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಬರೀತಾರೆ ಹೇಳಿ? ಸ್ಟೇಜ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ನಾಟಕ ಮಾಡುದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಸಾಮಾಜಿಕರಿಗೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾಟಕ ಬರೆದಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಸಾಮಾಜಿಕರು ಓದಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಕಾಮಸೂತ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ಉಲ್ಲೇಖವೇ ಇದೆ ಜನ ಈ ಭಾಷೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಇನ್ನು ಎಲ್ಲ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿಯೂ ಕೂಡ ನಾನು ಆವಾಗಲೇ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೇನೆ, ಪರಮಾರ ಭೋಜ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಅವನು ಜಾಟ್ ಕಮ್ಯುನಿಟಿ ಅವನು ಕೂಡ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತದಲ್ಲಿ ಉದ್ಗ್ರಂಥಗಳನ್ನು ಬರೆದಿದ್ದಾನೆ. ಅದರಿಂದಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಯಾವುದನ್ನು ನೋಡದೆ ಕಣ್ಣು ಮುಚ್ಚಿಕೊಂಡು ಈ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಒಪಿನಿಯನ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ನಾವು ಕಟ್ಟು ಬೀಳುವುದು ಅಷ್ಟು ಒಳ್ಳೆಯದಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ನನಗೆ ಅನ್ನಿಸ್ತದೆ. ನನ್ನ ಒಪಿನಿಯನ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೇನೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ನೀವು ಒಪ್ಪಿಕೊಳ್ಳುವುದು ಬಿಡುವುದು ನಿಮಗಿಷ್ಟ.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು ಸರ್. ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ದಿ ಕ್ವೆಶ್ಚನ್.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಸರ್. ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ, ನಾನು ಜಯದೇವಿ ಜಂಗಮ್ ಶೆಟ್ಟಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ.
So the question is very precise. What is he trying to put to us is that Samskrita has remained constrained to few sects as well as few forms of the society, which was at the executive level, and it has not reached to the roots of the society. Now it is essential for all of us to make it very precisely Sanskrit, a language reached to every sect as well as every level of society, at every form of imparting language, as it happens for first standard and second standard, which is essentially his urge to the whole administrative system as well as the educational body of the country itself.
ಸರ್, ಪ್ರೈಮರಿ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಹ ಕನ್ನಡ
For this, first let me the answer here. Now the NEP 2020 are from the beginning, from our first education policy from after independence. There is a 3-point formula, 3 language formula is there. 3 languages, one is mother tongue, and generally English is another language, and third language is a given option. When it is and some in Tamil Nadu, even the Hindi is offered the opposite, and there is a different theory. Even when the 3 language formula is again in NEP 2020 recommended, again moment I started from the Tamil Nadu. It is they are not asking anything, only Hindi or English, 3 languages. Some in some schools also they are learning instead of English, French, Germany also. So that option is given. And also the NEP 2020 is advocating to teach in the local languages, even the medium of instruction. So the first vernacular university in the country was the Usman University. There, the medium of instruction was Urdu when it was established in 1917. All this medicine, engineering, everything is offered in the medium of Urdu medium. Later on, after independence only, and after that is the independence means in the Hyderabad, it is liberated in 17th September 1948. After that only, again, English is introduced. Now the English is also a not common man language here also. So that is the masses, they don't know about English, but governments, everyone is taking steps to that is implement the English, and people are slowly, everyone is learning. Similarly, also from our Central University also, if anyone comes, if you show an interest, definitely we'll arrange some Sanskrit classes here, and also advise the English department to start English language training center. That is everyone, whoever here join, everyone should learn the English. And also I'm advising the Hindi department to offer Hindi. Who are interested, they can also go and join. And also Kannada department also, they can start, so that like me also I can learn Kannada. So it should not be, language should not be a barrier. We should love and respect each and every language. So this is a language, is a medium of communication. So we all gathered here because of language. The language is connecting us. Otherwise, how can we communicate with each other? So therefore, whatever language, first, if anyone understand, first be perfect in mother language, mother tongue, then he can easily understand other language. And at the early stage, early development of stage, in the education department, teachers used to tell, there they can easily understand three languages or four languages. At later stage, if you teach, it is very difficult.
So the answer has been given quite lengthily, but I ought to wish to pitch in. And ఇది ఇక్కడ ఉన్న మనవాడందరికీ చాలా మీరు బాగుపడతారు దీన్ని విని. I'm trying to read something, and this is a commentary written in Sanskrit by somebody, and this commentary is still studied in the university. Even in your university, I'm sure it will be studied. Tasya padam bujajjato varno vigata kalmashah yasya sodarataam praptam bhagiratha tapaphalam tatra recharla vamshabdhi sharadraka sudhakarah kalanidhi rudara Sri Rasid Vachanayakah. Sangeeta Ratnakara is a text in music. There are two commentaries for it. Simha Bhupala, adi manavade, Andhra nunchi vachina Racharla king ayana, Racharla king. Ayana, how is he introducing himself? Sorry. Kallinatha and Simha Bhupala. These are the two people who have given the commentaries. And how is Simha Bhupala introducing himself in the commentary? Tasya padam bujajjato. He tells that I am a Shudra. And what is he writing? He is writing a Sanskrit commentary on Sangeeta Ratnakara. Okay, that is number one. This is from again 10th century or before that. Bruma sarasvatang kulabhuvah kimnidhe kautukanam tasyashena. I mean, the last line comes as Pratyavasam vilasate vachah samskritam prakritam cha yatra strinamapi kimaparam janma bhasha vadeva. Okay, yatra strinamapi kimaparam janma bhasha vadeva pratyavasam vilasati yachah samskritam prakritam cha. So to say that Samskrita was secluded or kind of an obscurant language limited to certain rituals or certain communities is absolutely not true. This is, I mean, I can share these evidences with you. Last point. Ke bhuvan nadhya rajyasya rajye prakrita bhashina kale sri sahasankasya bhojaraja ke na samskritavadinah. Okay, ke na samskritavadini, ever illaru Sanskrit. I mean, are there anybody who doesn't speak Sanskrit? And as Ramakrishna said, if Sanskrit natakas were done, where they're done only for a specific community. And my last point here as an answer to this question, open challenge, అది తెలుగు అయితే సరి, కన్నడలో ನೀವು ಥಿಂಕ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, आप हिंदी में सोच सकते हैं, ತಮಿಳು இருக்கிறவங்க யோசிச்சு பார்க்கலாம். Do you give me any word for exclusivity in Indian language? Think about it. Do we have the word for exclusion in Indian language? So when we are from that culture, this is the kind of identity we are talking about. That's it.
Thank you.
ಸರ್, ನಮ್ಮ ಸಂಗೀತ ವಿಭಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಈಗ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಈಗ ಸಂಶೋಧನೆಯನ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರುವಂತ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ PGಯನ್ನ ಮಾಡುವಂತ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳು ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಈಗ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಭಾಷೆಯ ಗೊಂದಲ ಯಾವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಇದೆ. ನಾವೀಗ ಥಾಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದೀವಿ, ಅದು ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷಲ್ಲಿ THAT ದಟ್ ಅಂತ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಈ ತರದ ಒಂದು ಗೊಂದಲಗಳು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಯಾವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಇರ್ತದೆ ಭಾಷೆಯಲ್ಲಿ. ನಮ್ಮ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಯೂನಿವರ್ಸಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದೇ ಭಾಷೆಯ ಮೇಲೆ ನಾವು ಅಭ್ಯಾಸ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋ ನಿರ್ಬಂಧನೆ ಇದೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಪ್ರೈಮರಿಯಲ್ಲೇನೆ ನಾವು ಈಗ ಈ ಪ್ರೊನೌನ್ಸಿಯೇಷನ್, ನಮ್ಮ ಭಾಷೆಯ ಪ್ರೊನೌನ್ಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ನಾವು ಗೋರೇನವೇ ಅಂತ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ಲಂಡನ್ ಈಸ್ ಫಾಲಿಂಗ್ ಡೌನ್ ಅನ್ನ ರಿದಮಿಕ್ ರೈಮ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ಕಲಿಸ್ತೀವಿ. ಆ ಕಲಿಕೆಯಿಂದ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿದ್ದಾಗನೇ ಅದು ಬೇಗ ಕ್ಯಾಚ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದು ಒಳಗಿನ ಅರ್ಥ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಆಗದೆ ಇದನ್ನ ಆ ಟ್ಯೂನ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕ್ಯಾಚ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಆ ಟ್ಯೂನ್ ಕ್ಯಾಚ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಪರ್ಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಅವ್ರು ಸೂರಲ್ಲಿ ಹಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ಅದೇ ಆ ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರಿಗೆ ವಚನ, ದಾಸವಾಣಿ, ತತ್ವಪದ ಈ ತರದ ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಹಾಕಿ ಕೊಡೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಅವ್ರು ಮುಂದುವರೆದು ಡಿಗ್ರಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಈ ನಮ್ಮ PGಗೆ ಬರೋದ್ರೊಳಗೆ ಅವರು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಭಾಷಾ ಮತ್ತೆ ಈ ನಮ್ಮ ಭಾರತೀಯ ಒಂದು ಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಏನಿದೆಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಒಂದು ಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಕಲ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಸಾಧ್ಯತೆಗಳಾಗ್ತವೇನೋ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಂತೀನಿ. CV ರಾಮನ್ ಅವರು, ನಾವಿವಾಗ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ ಸರ್, ನಾವು CV ರಾಮನ್ ಅವರು, ಐನ್ಸ್ಟೈನ್ ಅವರು, ಮತ್ತೆ ಅಬ್ದುಲ್ ಕಲಾಂ ಜಿ ಅವರು, ರಾವ್ ಅವರು, ಇಂಥವ್ರು ದೊಡ್ಡ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಸಂಗೀತವನ್ನ ಅವಲಂಬಿಸಿದ್ರು. ವಯಲಿನಿಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರು, ವೀಣಾಯಿಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರು, ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದ್ರು. ಸೈಂಟಿಸ್ಟ್ಗಳಿಗೂ ಸಂಗೀತದ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಇಷ್ಟ ಮತ್ತೆ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಯಾಕೆ ಪಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ರು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೊಂದು ಮೆಡಿಸಿನಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಇರೋಂದು ಗುಣ ಇದೆ ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದೇ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೆ. ಇದು ಆಪ್ಷನಲ್ ಆಗಿ, ಮೈನರ್ ಆಗಿ, ಎಲೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಆಗಿ ಇರುವಂತ ವಿಷಯ ನಮ್ಮ ಸಂಗೀತ ಆಗದೇ ಇರೋದು. ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಕಂಪಲ್ಸರಿ ಆಗಿ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ಇದು ಬಹಳ ಒಳ್ಳೆಯ ಒಂದು ಗುಣಾತ್ಮಕತೆಯನ್ನು ತಂದು ಕೊಡ್ತದೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಮನಸ್ಸಿಗೆ ಇರುವಂತ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ಸು, ರಾಗ ಚಿಕಿತ್ಸೆಗಳಾಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಈ ತರದೆಲ್ಲ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕರಿಕ್ಯುಲಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಬಹುದೇನೋ. ಹಾಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಾಗ ಇದು ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಪ್ರಚಾರ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಮತ್ತು ಪರಿಚಯ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ಭಾರತೀಯ ಇಡೀ ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯ ಮತ್ತು ಸಂಗೀತ ಮತ್ತು ಜೊತೆಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶೀಯ ಕಲೆಗಳನ್ನು ಸಹ ಒಳಗೊಂಡಂತೆ ಅವುಗಳಿಗೆ ನಾವು ಕಲಿಸುವಂತದೊಂದು ಗುಣವನ್ನು ಹೇಳ್ಕೊಡ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಅನ್ಕೊಂತೀನಿ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಯಾಕೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಈ ಕೇಂದ್ರೀಯ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾಲಯಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಅನ್ನ ಒಂದೇ ಭಾಷೆ ಅಂತ ಯಾಕೆ ಹೇರಿಕೆ ಹಾಕಬೇಕು, ಇದನ್ನ ತೆಗೆದು ಹಾಕೋದು ತುಂಬಾ ಒಳ್ಳೇದೇನೋ ಅಂತ ನನ್ನ ಮನಸ್ಸಿನ ಭಾವನೆ. ನಾನು ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದೊಳಗಾಗಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಭಾರತೀಯೊಳಗಾಗಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ.
Thank you, madam. So with this, the panel discussion comes to an end. I would request the Honorable Vice Chancellor to...
Last question, sir. The last question, Ramakrishna sir. Last question, sir. You please, sir. Sir, ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಅವರು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ. ಸರ್,
actually, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ, she is saying that why we have to make Sanskrit, English as a common language. So that is her question. And actually, I am also in agreement with that. Unfortunately, to say that I have to use English only, because we don't have our own common language. So we had a chance, but we missed that. So I hope all of you know that Ambedkar only actually proposed Sanskrit as a Raja Bhasha. But unfortunately, because if Sanskrit was accepted as a Raja Bhasha, then definitely it would have been accepted by all Indians. But unfortunately, it didn't happen. And until we go to that stage, we don't. And if we make if I speak in Kannada, then other people cannot understand. And which language we have to take?
Second language, Hindi is there, no sir.
No,
sir.
A strong
Hindi.
resistance is there in
Yes,
South
sir.
Indian.
That's why
India.
I'm asking. You were
No, actually, personally,
we have only one language, no
yeah,
sir. English ಅದು ಒಂದೇ ಅಲ್ವಲ್ಲ, ನಮಗೆ ಹಿಂದಿ.
Yeah, personally, yeah, we have to embrace all languages.
So
and what is
ನಮ್ಮ ಹಾಡುಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಹಿಂದಿ ಭಾಷೆಯಲ್ಲೇ ಇದೆ. ಏರಿಯಾಲಿ ಪಿಯಾ ಬಿನಾ ಸಖಿ ಅಂತ ಇದೆ. ಆ ತರದ ಹಿಂದಿ ಭಾಷೆಯಲ್ಲಿರುವಂತ ಹಾಡುಗಳನ್ನ ಯಾಕೆ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರಿಬೇಕು? ಇಲ್ಲ, ಬ್ರಿಡ್ಜ್ ಇರ್ಲಿ, ಬ್ರಿಡ್ಜ್ ಪರ್ಷಿಯನ್ ಇರ್ಲಿ, ಆದ್ರೂ ಸರ್ ಅದನ್ನ ಬರವಣಿಗೆಗೆ ಹಿಂದಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇಳಿಸಬಹುದು. ಸರ್ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಳಿಸೋದು ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಸರ್.
Okay, it is-
ಹಿಂದಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ಇಳಿಸಬಹುದು ಆ ಭಾಷೆಯನ್ನ. ಇದ್ರೂ ಸಹ ಅದನ್ನ ಹಿಂದಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೆಯಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಈಸಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೆಯೋದಕ್ಕಿಂತ.
And yeah, but it is, and we are, and second thing, as it is rightly recommended that
Yes.
music, any form of music must be taught from right from the
Primary.
beginning, early
Primary.
school education, and NAP actually has that scope. I don't know.
ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಮೆದುಳಿಗೆನೆ ಸಂಗೀತದೊಂದು
ಹೌದು,
ಸ್ನೇಹ
ಹೌದು.
ಹಚ್ಚೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಬೇಗ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ತರದ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ ಇಂದ ಫ್ರೀ ಆಗ್ತಾರೆ. ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಬರುವ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಷನ್ಗೆ ಇದು ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಎಲ್ಲದಕ್ಕೂ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ನಾಟ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೈಮರಿ, ಈವನ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಡಿಗ್ರಿ PG ಅವ್ರಿಗೂ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳಿಗೂ ಸ್ಟ್ರೆಸ್ ಫ್ರೀ ಮಾಡೋಕೆ ಮ್ಯೂಸಿಕ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಫಂಡಮೆಂಟಲ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ನಾನು ಅದನ್ನ ಫೀಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ. ಸೊ ಹಂಗಾಗಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಯಾಕೆ ನಾವು ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷಿಗೆ ಇಳಿಸಿ, ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ನಾವಂತೂ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಪೋಯಮ್ಸ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ,
Actually,
ಮೈಕಲ್
this
ಜಾಕ್ಸನ್ ಹಾಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ.
rich languages, this language issue, whatever you are speaking now, many languages, in which language we have to speak, Kannada, Hindi, English, Telugu. You see, you should understand this in this way. I visited several countries. India is such a beautiful country. We have the richness of the languages. This is the richness of the language. We are all enjoying actually this. This is what the unity in diversity. So, otherwise, you think once that we all have one language. It is very, very boring. Very boring. So we have these languages. That is why we are just enjoying like anything. And this is the beauty of India. That's why we should not fight.
Thank you.
Complete this, because the inspiring the language, it inspired even certain Persian speakers to compose in Sanskrit as a Manipravada, English and Hindi. Ekasmin divasavasana samaye maitha gaya bag mein kashchid. You can continue that, but there are, I mean, this. So as sir said, we should be proud of this richness of the language and not, find exclusivity in each of them.
ಸರ್ ರಾಮಕೃಷ್ಣ ಸರ್ಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀರಿ ಸರ್. ಸರ್ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾನೆ ನೀವು ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಮುಕ್ತವಾಗಿತ್ತು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ವಾಸ್ತವ ಭಾಷೆಗೆ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತವರೆಲ್ಲ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತದಲ್ಲೇ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು. ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಇವತ್ತಿಗೂ ಅದು ಬದುಕಿದೆಯಾ ಅನ್ನೋದು, ಮತ್ತೆ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಮುಕ್ತವಾಗಿತ್ತ, ಯಾಕದನ್ನ ನೀವು, ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತ ಮಾತನಾಡಿದ್ರೇನೆ ನಾಲಿಗೆ ಕತ್ತರಿಸ್ತೀನಿ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಅದಕ್ಕಾಗ್ಲೇ ನಮ್ಮ ಸರ್ ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಆ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತವನ್ನ ಕೇಳಿದವ್ರಿಗೆ ಕಾದ ಸೀಸ ಕಿವಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗ್ತು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಮರೆಮಾಚಿ, ಇಲ್ಲ ನೀವು ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ನಾಟಕಗಳು ಇದ್ವು, ಅದು ಯಾರಿಗಾಗಿದ್ವು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ, ಅದೇ ಯಾರಿಗಾಗಿದ್ವು ಆ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತ, ಅದನ್ನ ಮರೆಮಾಚಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರಿ. ವಾಸ್ತವವನ್ನ ಯಾಕೆ ಮಾತನಾಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅನ್ನೋದು ನನ್ನ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಸರ್. ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತ ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಮುಕ್ತವಾಗಿತ್ತ? He again the same question, that he is saying that Sanskrit was not free, I mean what accessible to everyone. And first of all, thank you for your compliments on my communication skills. And you also speak very nicely, and I appreciate your. And one thing, now he has shown so many references, and I am also showing so many references. We are speaking with the evidences, and you are not ready. If you are not ready to accept it, then what can we do? And I'm also with the evidence. No. I have also evidence. Yeah. But we are not talking about that. No. See. So many. See, we have clear evidences that there were people, and I have already shown that 33 poetesses' names have been mentioned. I mean, ಕವಯಿತ್ರಿಯರ ಬಗ್ಗೆಯೂ ಉಲ್ಲೇಖ ಇದೆ, ಬೇರೆ ಜಾತಿಯವರ ಬಗ್ಗೆಯೂ ಉಲ್ಲೇಖ ಇದೆ. ಅವರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ ಉಲ್ಲೇಖ ಇದ್ದ ಮೇಲೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ಕೂಡ ನೀವು ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನನಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನು ತೃಪ್ತಿಪಡಿಸಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ನನಗಂತೂ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡಿ. ನಿಮ್ಮನ್ನು ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದೇರ್, ಈಗಲೂ ಕೂಡ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಸರ್. ಅದು ಯಾವುದು ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್? ನೀವು ಯಾವ್ದನ್ನ ಜಾತಿ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಒಂದು ಭಾಷೆ. ಅಯ್ಯೋ ದೇವರೇ, ಬನ್ನಿ ಸ್ವಾಮಿ, ಈಗಲೇ ಶುರು ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ. ಬನ್ನಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬನ್ನಿ. ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಬರಲಿ? ಈಗಲೇ ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ. ಬನ್ನಿ, ಇವತ್ತೇ ಶುರು ಮಾಡು. ತದೇವ ಲಗ್ನಂ ಸ್ತುತಿನಂತ ದೇವ. ಬನ್ನಿ ಕೂತ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ನೀವು ಇದು ಆಚೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಿ, ಚರ್ಚೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಿ? ಒಳ್ಳೇದು ಸರ್, ಒಳ್ಳೇದು.
There is no argument on language. I'm telling you, don't fight for language. It is university is for universe. We can discuss and debate intellectuals. Don't fight. The fielding fight is left to the politicians. Again, Somasekar, no debate on this one. Madam,
So I think
no debate.
we are out of time. I request all of you to
Don't
please.
fight. Don't fight for the language. I'm telling you, even English is not a common language, but we are learning. Okay, fine. Now
We
no. 4 o'clock we have the valedictory session.
thank you all for the wonderful discussions there. We
Raju, I want.
Now we have the valedictory function at 4 o'clock. I think guest has come or.
yes. So we are closing the
Yes.
discussions now.
ಸರ್ ಒಂದು ನಿಮಿಷ ಸರ್ ತುಂಬಾ ಆಸಕ್ತಿದಾಯಕವಾದಂತ ಚರ್ಚೆ ಸರ್ ಇದು. ಇಲ್ಲ ಕನ್ನಡ ರಾಮಕೃಷ್ಣ, ನೋ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಸರ್. ಸರ್ ರಾಮಕೃಷ್ಣ ಸರ್, ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೆ ಮುಕ್ತವಾಗಿತ್ತು ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಕೆಲವು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ಗಳನ್ನ ನೀವು ಮತ್ತೆ ರಾಮನಾಥನ್ ಸರ್ ಕೊಟ್ರಿ. ಆ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಉದಾಹರಣೆಗಳು ಶಿಷ್ಟ ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯದ ಉದಾಹರಣೆಗಳೇ. ಶಿಷ್ಟ ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೆಯಲ್ಪಟ್ಟ ಉದಾಹರಣೆಗಳನ್ನೇ ಕೊಟ್ರಿ ನೀವು. ಆದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಏನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಈಗ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತ ಮುಕ್ತವಾದ ಭಾಷೆ ಆಗಿದ್ದಿದ್ರೆ, ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಬಳಸುವ ಭಾಷೆ ಆಗಿದ್ದಿದ್ರೆ, ಅದು ಈಗ ನೀವು ಉದಾಹರಣೆಗೆ ಜನಪದ ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯ ಇದೆ. ಕನ್ನಡ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೆ ಮುಕ್ತವಾದ ಭಾಷೆ ಆದ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಅನಕ್ಷರಸ್ಥ ಕಲಾವಿದರು ಕೂಡ ಸಾವಿರಾರು ಪುಟದ ಮೌಖಿಕ ಕಾವ್ಯವನ್ನ, ಮಂಟೇಸ್ವಾಮಿ, ಮಹದೇಶ್ವರ, ಜುಂಜಪ್ಪ ಕಾವ್ಯಗಳನ್ನ ಬಹಳ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಪ್ರಮಾಣದಲ್ಲಿ ಕಟ್ಟಿದ್ರು. ಯಾಕೆ? ಕನ್ನಡ ಮುಕ್ತ ಭಾಷೆ ಆಗಿದ್ದ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕಾಗಿ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತ ಮುಕ್ತ ಭಾಷೆ ಆಗಿದ್ದಿದ್ರೆ ಯಾಕೆ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಮೌಖಿಕ ಕಾವ್ಯ ಹುಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿಲ್ಲ? ಇದು ಬಹಳ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಗಮನಿಸಲೇಬೇಕು. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ತುಂಬಾ ನಾವು ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ನಾಲೆಡ್ಜ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್, ಭಾರತೀಯ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಪರಂಪರೆಯಲ್ಲಿರುವ ಬಹಳ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಸಂಪತ್ತು ಇರೋದೆ ಅದು ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತದಲ್ಲೂ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಬೇರೆ ಶಿಷ್ಟ ಭಾಷೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿಯೂ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಭಾರತೀಯ ಜಾನಪದ ಸಾಹಿತ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ. ಇದನ್ನ BM ಶ್ರೀಕಂಠಯ್ಯ ಬಹಳ ಸ್ಪಷ್ಟವಾಗಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಜನವಾಣಿ ಬೇರು ಕವಿವಾಣಿ ಹೂವು ಅಂತ. ಇದು ನಮ್ಮ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಪರಂಪರೆ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇದೆ. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು, ಸೋಲಿಗ ಸಮುದಾಯದ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇರುವ ವಿವೇಕ ಕೂಡ ನಮ್ಮ ಭಾರತೀಯ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಪರಂಪರೆಯನ್ನ ಕಟ್ಟಿಕೊಳ್ಳುವುದಕ್ಕೆ ತುಂಬಾ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾದ ಉದಾಹರಣೆ ಅಂತ ನನ್ಗನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ. ಸೋಲಿಗ ಸಮುದಾಯ ಚಾಮರಾಜನಗರ, ಕೊಳ್ಳೇಗಾಲ, ಹಾಗೇನೆ ಹೆಗ್ಗಡದೇವನಕೋಟೆ ಕಡೆ ಇದೆ. ಅವರು ಕಾಡಿಗೆ ಗೆಡ್ಡೆ ಗೆಣಸುಗಳನ್ನ ತರಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ, ಆಹಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಬಳಸಲಿಕ್ಕೆ. ತಗೊಂಡು ಬಂದ ಮೇಲೆ ಆ ಇಡೀ ಆಡಿಯ ಜನ ಸಂಗ್ರಹಿಸಲ್ಪಟ್ಟ ಗೆಡ್ಡೆ ಗೆಣಸುಗಳನ್ನ ಹಂಚಿಕೊಳ್ಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಕೂರ್ತಾರೆ, ಒಂದ್ ಕಡೆ ಕೂರ್ತಾರೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ಹಂಚುವಾಗ ಜಸ್ಟ್ 1 minute ಸರ್, ಜಸ್ಟ್ 1 minute. ಹಾಗೆ ಹಂಚುವಾಗ ಆ ಸೋಲಿಗ ಸಮುದಾಯದ ಯಜಮಾನ ಒಬ್ಬ ಹೆಣ್ಣು ಮಗಳಿಗೆ 2 ಪಾಲನ್ನ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಯಾಕೆ 2 ಪಾಲು ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಆ ಹೆಣ್ಣು ಮಗಳು ಗರ್ಭಿಣಿಯಾಗಿರ್ತಾಳೆ, ಅವಳಿಗೆ 1 ಪಾಲು, ಅವಳ ಹೊಟ್ಟೆಯಲ್ಲಿರುವ ಮಗುವಿಗೆ 1 ಪಾಲು ಅಂತ. ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಒರಿಜಿನಲ್ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ನಾಲೆಡ್ಜ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಅಂತ. ಭಾರತೀಯ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಪರಂಪರೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿಯವರೆಗೆ ಜಾನಪದ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಪರಂಪರೆಯನ್ನ ಅಲಕ್ಷಿಸುತ್ತದೋ, ನಿರ್ಲಕ್ಷಿಸುತ್ತದೋ, ಕಡೆಗಣಿಸುತ್ತದೋ, ಅಲ್ಲಿಯವರೆಗೆ ಭಾರತೀಯ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಪರಂಪರೆ ಪರಿಪೂರ್ಣ ಆಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮ್ ಗಾರ್ಕಿ ಕೂಡ ಅದನ್ನೇ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದು, ಇದನ್ನೇ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದು.
Thank you. So we are closing now. The guest has already come, so I would request you to please wind in. The debate as well as discussions do continue, and I would request.
ನಾ ಏನ್ ಯಾರಿಗೆ ಬೈತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಒಂದೇ ಮತ್ತೆ ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ ನಂಗಿಂತ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್ಸ್, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಹಾ, ಮತ್ತೆ ಹಂಗಂದ್ರೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾಕ? ಬೇರೆಲ್ಲ ಎಷ್ಟು ಲೇಟ್ ಆದ್ರೂ
There is no end for this discussion and debate now.
Yes sir, I know.
Again,
Sir,
again we have to go again. There is a rain, everything is there.
Sir,
Just
So I request we will be closing the panels now. The guests have arrived. We are delayed for.
no.
We are.
ರಾಜು ಹಂಗಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಿ? ಹೌದು, ನಾ ಏನ್ 8 ಗಂಟೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಾ ಸರ್? ಹಾ, ಎಸ್
ನಾ ಎಂದೂ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ಸರ್. 20 ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಸರ್, ನಾನು ರಿಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್ಗೆ ನನ್ನ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ, ಅದರ್ ದೆನ್ ಮೇನ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮ್ ರಿಲಿಜನ್ಸ್, ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರಾಚೀನ ಭಾರತದಲ್ಲಿ ಆಜೀವಿಕ ಇತ್ತು, ಕಾಳಮುಖ ಇತ್ತು, ಕಾಪಾಲಿಕ ಇತ್ತು, ನಾಥ, ಸಿದ್ಧ, ಕೌಳ, ಗಾಣಪತ್ಯ, ತಮಿಳು, ದ್ರಾವಿಡ ಶೈವ, ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾನು ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾದರೂ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ನನಗೆ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು. ಅದನ್ನು ಕೇಳಿಕೆ ನಾನು ಇಷ್ಟು ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ನಾನೇನು ಯಾರಿಗೆ ದೇಶದ್ರೋಹಿ ಎಲ್ಲ, ನಾನೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಸರ್, ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾನು ತುಂಬಾ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ನಾಥ, ಸಿದ್ಧ, ಕಾಪಾಲಿಕ, ಕಾಳಾಮುಖ, ಲಾಕುಳ, ಅಭಿನವ ಪಾಶುಪತ. ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಸರ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇನ್ನೂ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ, ಅಲ್ಲ ಕೊನೆಯದು. ನಿನ್ನೆಯಿಂದ ನಾವು ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ, ನಮ್ಮ ಎಲ್ಲ ನಾಲೆಜ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮನ್ನು ಪಾಶ್ಚಾತ್ಯರು ಬಂದು ಕೆಡಿಸಿದ್ರು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ. ಅದರ್ ದೆನ್ ಹ್ಯುಮ್ಯಾನಿಟೀಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆರ್ಟ್ಸ್, ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಹೀಗೆ ನೀವು ಹೇಳ್ಕೊತ ಹೋದರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಫಾರಿನ್ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಬಿಡಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಎಷ್ಟು ಬೇಕೋ ಅಷ್ಟನ್ನು ನಾವು ಬಳಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕಾದ ಅನಿವಾರ್ಯತೆ ಕೂಡ ಇದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಕೂಡ ನಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಗಮನಕ್ಕೆ ತರಬೇಕು. ನಾವು ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ, ನಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ್ತದೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ತಗೋಬೇಕು ಎಷ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. ಇಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸು PhD PG UG ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಫಾರಿನರ್ಸ್ ಬಂದು ತಪ್ಪು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಏನು ಇಂಪ್ಯಾಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ಒಂದ್ಸಲ ವಿಚಾರ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವೆಲ್ಲವನ್ನು ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಬಿಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಈವನ್ ಸ್ಟೀಫನ್ ಹಾಕಿಂಗ್ ತನಕ, ನ್ಯೂಟನ್ ಇಂದ ಐನ್ಸ್ಟೈನು, ಸ್ಟೀಫನ್ ಹಾಕಿಂಗ್ ತನಕ ಏನೇನಿದೆ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದನ್ನು ಅಷ್ಟೇ. ಧನ್ಯವಾದಗಳು. ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದಿನ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕುಂತ ಆಡಿಯನ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು. ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನ ಇದು
ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಲೇಟ್. What is translate me?
Thank you all for this sparkling discussions. I believe Vade Vade Jayata hai Tattva Bodha is very
From the
essential.
topic.
We stop the...
Here, no one is insulted anyone. And in science, today theory may be wrong tomorrow. There are several theories were proposed and proven wrong, and say that this is correct, this is wrong, this is no one says, and don't deviate the subject, and don't whatever is also everything is recorded. Don't go for deep into that one. I'm telling, just you see, you add some instead of going into arguments and anything finding fault, you add something to the discussion so that we'll participate, and definitely it should be some kind of intellectual discussion, not fight with each other. Language is not a barrier, I'm telling you. Raju,
Thank you.
Raju, proceed.
Thank you
Proceed.
all. So we conclude this. We conclude this session.
No further discussion.
We conclude this session by saying the outputs of this discussion, few lines. We have identified that knowledge is the identity that makes the Indian. Shravana Parampara is one of the most important paramparas in the country. We realize that we need to learn how to listen, and this has to be documented. The contributions from every realm of the knowledge has to be put in all the languages which is available. Along with the mainstream learning, the different paramparas and ideas which have come from different opinionistic systems have to be documented and included in the Indian knowledge system, and this shall be rendered as a systematic curriculum which forms the outcome of this discussion. Thank you all for this wonderful enlightenment. So we break for 5 minutes now. We will be